Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer, holding it down on the East Coast. And we are looking at a big-time classic here, Lakers and Celtics. Got another couple videos up on today's pretty nice NBA slate, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also got a gift card opportunity up for you guys in our player props video today, so do make sure to like and subscribe to that page. And if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of hypotheticals with this game. So the spread right now is the Lakers plus 1.5 at Celtics. The total has crept up a little bit from 213 to about 215. But we're all waiting to see the official word on Jaylen Brown and LeBron James and whether they will return. Both have been upgraded to questionable in the last couple days. Also, Robert Williams is questionable for the Celtics, and Anthony Davis is perennially questionable, but he should be fine to play. Quickly looking at the other games on this full slate, Warriors -7 at Pistons. The Pacers are +2 at Hornets. The Magic are +12 at Nets, as are the Thunder at Bucks. Clippers just -3.5 at Pelicans. We got an episode up about that one. Bulls +3 at Nuggets after Denver crapped the bed last night against Philly. Mavs without Luka Doncic, again +8.5 at the Suns. And the Raptors are +3 at the Kings. So this game is obviously going to change a lot based on whether LeBron plays, based on whether Jaylen Brown plays. And I think both of them will probably play, just because of what you said in the intro, just because of the history of this matchup, how much it means, and that they've both been out, Brown for 6 games, LeBron for 8, long enough that they've been eyeing a spot to return and probably have picked this game for a while. LeBron's impact is a little easier to predict as far as his team's performance because those Celtics have just been so wonky all season. Even when Jaylen's in there, their points and pace have really jumped up, though, from 103 points per game to 109, pace from 93 to 97. And they were losing, but that's because he was in there earlier in the season when they were just struggling on both ends. Without Jaylen Brown, I think their offense is very, very bad and exploitable. As much as we talk about the awkward Jaylen and Jason experience where they don't ever seem to pass or play off each other, the Celtics just need that secondary scorer. They need him to work with the second unit and then to push the pace a little bit and get those good opportunities. So if Jaylen Brown is ruled out, I would target the under for sure. I would look at the Celtics team under as well. They're scoring just 101 points per game, allowing just 97 points per game over their last 7, 29th in pace during that span. And the Lakers have been playing with a lot of pace on the road, but they've only played 4 road games. And they're 28th in offensive rating in those 4 road games. So I think if LeBron's out, I mean, you also see them score much fewer points per game, predictably. Not really sure how it'll affect the pace, but it does kind of rein in Russell Westbrook when LeBron plays. So I think we would see a slower game, something similar to when the Lakers visited Boston last year, and it was only 96-95. If both teams are going to treat this as an important game that they want their stars back for, and Jaylen and LeBron, both very good defensive presences who will not have their legs under them necessarily, who might show some rust shooting the ball. I think we're looking at an under here, and I like that it's creeping up to about 215. And if LeBron plays, I have no problem taking the Lakers to just win. Money line and under is +300 if you parlay those.
Yeah, I think that's my desired bet is that LeBron plays, and then we see a Lakers sort of resurgence there a bit. I think LeBron and Jaylen are both crucial to the total in that if they do play, both of them, I might feel better about the over. I know Jaylen, what he brings on defense, but you've got some great stats about what their pace jumps up incredibly when he's on the floor. Without that makes perfect sense, right? You've got a nice big rebounding wing that can get it and go. So you've got another guy who's just getting his own rebound and pushing the fast break there. So yeah, that makes perfect sense in terms of his pace. It makes perfect sense in terms of his points, because this is not, there's no offense here. There's your turn, my turn, as we kind of say, the awkward Jalen and Jason offense that is the last couple of years. And especially this season, very your turn, my turn. So that also sort of leads you to needing one more scorer who can just get buckets by himself, which they would have if Jalen plays. Interestingly enough, the other stat that I was looking at is Russ Westbrook. And what he's able to do when LeBron plays versus when LeBron doesn't, which is crazy because Russ was playing here to be another ball scorer, ball handler who didn't need LeBron and could take some of those minutes in the second unit when LeBron or AD had to sit. But if you look at what he's done without LeBron this year, he's got about a -10 net rating. And when he is on the floor with LeBron, +2.5 or so. That's a huge swing for a guy who impacts the game in a ton of ways, specifically either being able to get it and go, or turning the ball over at the highest rate in the league, which he's doing, as we mentioned with James Harden, both of them at the very top of that statistic this year. So I hate to say that, we've got to monitor this. We've just got to see who's going to play tonight and bet it two different ways entirely. And right now, hedging that they both will play is kind of where I'm at. We saw LeBron on the court pregame the other night versus the Bucks, I believe, in their loss, and still was out there looking like, running drills, completely fine, no braces, nothing like that. So I do think LeBron has a good shot to play tonight. Which is why I would hedge that a little bit early, but then continue to see what happens there down the stretch as we get closer to this game. And then as far as the total, real quick, same concept. As far as the line goes, the total, I'm going under if these guys don't play, over if they do. And for that line there, right now, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with either team, but I actually do trust the Celtics at home if there is no LeBron James, really. And if LeBron comes, then it's Lakers all night for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's something to be said for betting this morning before the official news and the line moves, because LeBron James does move the needle like that. And I mean, they're 4-2 with a solid 1.5 net rating with Bron this year. They're a contender that's figuring it out with LeBron. Without him, they are a bad team. Actually, just straight up negative. Really bad team. Negative 5.5 net rating with holes all over the roster. Anthony Davis does not look like the same guy this year. And Westbrook, we know, is sort of a liability because of his perimeter shooting. Carmelo Anthony, a huge liability on the other end. I do think their offense is getting a little better with Talen Horton-Tucker back, but I don't trust the Celtics offense at all. And I do try to trust their defense, especially this year after a loss. They've gone under in 5 of 7 games because they know they have to lock in on that side if they're going to win, because they know their offense is not very good. So, I mean, I think that's where I would jump on the plus odds you can get right now for that kind of scenario, for either the Lakers to win or for this game to go under. And even though it's a different Lakers team than last year, I mean, they were under machines last year. And if they run into a good defense on the road, I can see them also struggling to get over that 100-point mark.
That's a great point. Yeah, Boston's coming off giving up 111 to the Hawks there. Not a great outing. And coming back home, you would think they would have a bit more pride. So, yeah, I would agree with that as well. And the last thing I would say is you bring up Taylor Horton-Tucker. As we're recording this, we don't really have access to player props right now as we do wait to see who plays. But if THT's got some props tonight and LeBron does not play, specifically if LeBron does not play, then I'm looking at THT. You look what he's done in his last 3 since he came back from injury. He's averaging about 23, 7 boards and 2 assists a game on some pretty good shooting splits. And actually when he's been on the floor in their last 3, they have a plus 12.5 point differential. So if I can get some Taylor Horton props, maybe his point total below 15 points or so, I do think he's coming on as someone who was supposed to be, an improved player this year and someone that was going to be able to impact the offense as well as a defense for them. He's been hurt this year. He's come back and looked really good in his last 3. So that's somewhere I think we can still find value if there's no LeBron James tonight. Either way, I know we'll both be watching this one tonight, Nate. Going to be a pretty good game. Make sure you do like and subscribe to the page, as we've got a couple other videos up for you today, including that player props video with a gift card opportunity for you. Until we see you next, happy betting.